All right, thanks for your time.
I think I have spoken to you before, right? Long time back.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it now. I think you were at the time finishing your master's or something. I remember, if I'm not.
Yeah, I was actually working
Oh
and
yeah. You lost your
yeah, yeah,
job.
yeah.
So it was some company.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
startup. So
My
I
memory
was
is not
like
bad
in
actually.
between like the job and my PhD. So
Right. Because I thought I remembered you, and then you're talking about at the time that I got into a PhD program. So how is it going?
it's going good. I think that
You
I've
are in
learned a lot of skills.
materials department or?
Yeah, I'm in the material science and engineering department.
I have
Um,
my senior there who is a professor, Dan.
then what's his full name?
Dan Ginola. Is it
Not familiar with him, but
Santiago?
maybe
No,
that's
he I
Berkeley.
no, he is in UCSD.
Oh, okay.
I thought he is in UCSD. Maybe he left. I don't know. It's been a long time. But I know your professor for sure. Jan Liu. He
Okay.
he he does I think he did some ceramic work. I remember a long time back.
Yeah. He does a lot of high temperature materials and
Yeah.
ceramic work. So yeah, yeah.
Cool. So yeah. Um so Shashank, what do you want to talk about? I have your question. Let me go through one by one. I think these are pretty straightforward, right? So
Right.
the question answer to number. So how long you are there in graduating?
I would say about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So that's a good. And you are a US citizen or
No, I'm on an F1.
F1?
So
Okay. So
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I'm assuming your citizenship is Indian or something else.
Yes, it's Indian.
Okay. So what's your plan here? Is do you want to go to industry or you have something else in your mind?
Oh yeah, no, definitely industry. I
Okay.
think that that would be my end goal. I'm just wondering what's the best way to make that transition and if there are certain pathways that are more optimal than others.
I mean, good thing that you have already worked somewhere, so you know what happens, right?
Right. Yeah.
So there's I don't have to dictate you that, but if you ask me that if you're so clear that you want to go to industry, postdoc is a waste of time.
Okay.
The reason people do a postdoc want if they are sure they want to go to industry is because
Hmm.
of their visa issues. Otherwise, I don't see any reason.
I see. Okay.
Otherwise, there is no way you should waste your time doing a postdoc. It doesn't count towards anything. Like
Okay.
for
I see.
academics, there are universities nowadays that demand you to have a postdoc because they want to
Right.
hire someone who has more experience on supervising things and things like that, and postdoc allows you to do that, right? So I would say the answer to your question one, where do you want to work for industry, postdoc, in my personal opinion, would be a waste of time. I did it because I want to go to academics. That was my
Okay.
plan.
Okay. The I think the way I was approaching it was A, I can kind of work in the same field, which is difficult to do, given my background. And then B, I don't know if the connections that or the network I would build during the postdoc would be helpful
No, I
when I
mean,
come
they
out.
helped me a
So
lot. Don't get me wrong. To be
okay.
honest with you, if you ask me, see, I'm not talking about the network and the connections you may make because they will help you anywhere you will go.
Hmm.
Like, for example, for me, working at Oak Ridge National Lab still today helps me,
Hmm.
even though that has nothing to do with I do, but even from a I would say from a performance perspective, people see me as that I have a diverse experience and I have a connections at Oak Ridge and I have experience at work at National Lab. And now because I work for defense, that has a value.
Okay. Yeah. I think
Although
like
I have
that's
never
what
used.
okay.
But if you
I
ask me that there are people who
mhm.
have not wasted 2 or 3 years at a postdoc, they are probably ahead of me. So why would I do that?
Mm. Okay. I see.
So
So
you will make connections no matter what, wherever you go. I would
mhm.
say if you if you get into an industry where you want to go, this is the industry you want to work for,
Mhm.
and you are not it seems that you are not compromising towards anything, whether it's a salary, whether it's a position, whether it's a um, the brand you want to work for, things like that, postdoc would be a waste of time.
Okay. Okay.
Unless and until you say, I got a postdoc at MIT and I really want to have that MIT brand in my CV. That's a separate issue.
I see. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because UCSD by itself as a material science, UCSD is like top three. So I don't know what you would like to add beyond that. That's my point.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. I think I was coming from it from more of a like a network standpoint, or
Yeah.
I don't know, since you have this, I think you have a similar background to me in terms of,
Yeah.
expertise. So I don't
Yeah.
know how much
Yeah.
ORNL helped with that transition. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely not. I mean, in my case, because my PhD was on a different topic, and that postdoc helped me to navigate in a different direction also. But as you said, if you like what you're doing, you are coming from a good university. If you get into a company which is what you want to do and things like that, I don't see you doing a postdoc and basically getting half or less than half of a salary. It's a waste of
Right.
time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then, as I said, if you want to go to industry, later on, what will happen is, I personally think if you put some more time later in your career doing an MBA or something, that probably will navigate you much faster into some
Mm.
direction, as compared
Okay.
to, unless until you want to stay in R&D and work in a lab, and many people enjoy that. I did not. So okay, so probably that answers your question. Second is, what's the best way to transition from R&D to a program product management in industry? In So I will explain you in this way. Um, when you're working for a PhD, you're working on um, validating concepts, basically.
Right.
That's what you do. That
Mhm.
has nothing to do with any product.
Yeah.
Product is not even far away inside anywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
And that's what you should be doing when you are doing a
Mhm.
PhD, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So in industry, we call it at low TRL level work. Low
Right.
TRL, as you can imagine, is coming with a new concept, new design, validating it in a very, maybe somebody makes a device which works for 10 hours. That should be good
Yeah.
if
Sure.
you're working towards that. So if you, let's say, if you work for a company called Apple, let's say,
Mhm.
by default you will be working towards a product, even though you will be doing an R&D. The R&D in that company is at much higher level. The R&D is not going to be the level that you are doing your PhD.
Yeah. For sure.
R&D over there would be, and no company these days invest time on drawing basic concepts. They rather give that money to a university or somewhere and let them do it, because
Right.
that's what they are good at. Companies rather, what they do is, as I said, once you validate a concept and someone works a prototype, they either buy that and said, that's ours now and we're going to take
Mhm.
that ahead. And if you look at all the products, whether it's iPhone or something, you will, and you go back and look at their history, that's what they are. Nobody invented X-ray or nobody invented optics.
Yep.
Somebody did it and they basically buy it and put it together. So your R&D will be more focused towards making a product anyway.
Okay.
So these, I don't see these two as a separate entity.
Mhm. Mhm.
My personal
Okay.
opinion. Only thing that can happen is, because you are a PhD, you would be probably working on validating the first iPhone and not
Mhm.
manufacturing it.
Okay. I
If
see.
I have to, if I have to make that very clear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And because that
Okay.
is more like quality control, that is more like um, what we call, what the word I'm looking for um, uh, is a heavy manufacturing based type of a job.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
and you will not be going there, I'm pretty sure. But if there any failure happens, you would
Hmm.
definitely be a part of a failure analysis.
Right. Yeah.
Like for example, I don't see anybody PhDs going and putting F-16s together. But
Right.
if something fails, it's gonna go to their lab and say, "Hey, figure it out how this wing failed."
Right. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Okay.
I was, yeah, I was wondering if I want to get into program management, which is a bit more high level.
You will eventually,
So,
as you said,
okay.
so if you the way I know what you are talking about, but the way I see it is it you will have a choice
Hmm.
later on in your career.
Okay.
Not
Got
right
it.
now, later in your career, 10 years down the road, that you want to work in the lab doing the failure analysis and enjoying it,
Yep.
or you want to take a role of a program manager.
Right.
You will come across that T,
Okay.
and you have to choose from there. So I don't think you should worry about that, because eventually you will realize that there will be two type of people. One is they are managing the programs,
Yep.
and the other ones are working on those programs, more
Okay.
technical people. And there are people, like even at Lockheed, there are people who are very heavy technical. They love that. They are
Hmm.
more, in depth into it. But there are people who are heavy on program management, but then there are also people who do both. So
Okay. Okay. So I guess summary is you get in through R&D and then just
yeah, I
choose.
mean, as I said,
Okay.
if you go to industry, you will see that right on the day one.
Right.
But as I said, nobody is going to give you that job on day one.
Yeah. Okay.
You once you get an experience, and then, because what happens is, at least that happened to me, where I got bored working in the lab and I saw more decision making power, and that's where I want to control that. I want to have my say on decisions rather than
Yep.
working on something. And but as I said, I also have colleagues who are 60 years old, and that's what they did, work on the lab
Hmm.
and not worry, because program management is not easy. It's more chaos. It's like
Right.
making everybody happy, and a lot of pressure on you. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then your third question is venture capital and mark management technical consulting as a career path. I mean, in this number three, the third question is, and I will tell you, this is a very good question, because you want to you I would like to tell you, this is another path that as a PhD not many people think about, and they should
Hmm.
choose, is go to the go to consulting companies website like Deloitte, like McKinsey, like
Right. ECG. Or, yeah.
yeah, and you will find there are roles for PhDs there,
Yep.
and you will exactly do what it's saying here. And also there are companies who are technical consulting companies. I forgot, there's a very good company actually. It's like only 200 people, but it's a really good company.
I think it's I know Exponent is a big one.
Yeah, Exponent.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what they do. That's I mean, that exactly that's what they do. They do technical consulting. And I had a friend actually who worked at Exponent, and then he moved to Amazon. But
Okay.
I think, but again, these are expect to work very hard here.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
I can't tell you the amount of work they do and how much is translate to the money. I'm pretty sure the money is better, but
Mhm.
how, whether it's twice of what you get, I can't answer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it definitely, it's a for PhDs, that is one type of job that everybody should explore, rather than looking into traditional industries. I want to work for
Mhm.
Boeing, I want to work for this, I want to work for that. Look at these consulting firms also. There's
Okay.
another one, I forgot the name. Very good one. It's in DC, and a lot of people do that, consulting for government. These companies
Hmm.
are
Oh, okay.
do a lot of consulting for government, for defense and things like that, and they require people who are technical, because they want to know the
Okay.
market, right? So and
Right.
so tomorrow, so for example, if a company is looking to, one time I remember I got a consulting through LinkedIn with, and they want to they want to know or consult me for high temperature optics actually.
Okay.
and they were a mediocre between a bigger company and looking at the market analysis, what the future is, because I think that they want to acquire a smaller company and they were looking for someone who can give them what it looks like before going into acquisition and things like that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So there
Yep.
are
Yeah. Yeah.
many companies who do that, and even if you look at McKinsey, right, many people hire them because they want to do, they are looking into this particular area and they found these four companies and they want to know which company we should acquire, and so they will need expert like you, so they come to McKinsey and say, can you do market analysis, right?
Mhm. Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Okay.
what else? Okay, for how to position my skill set for industry and the value of P license. This P license I have never used. I think PhD is good enough. Mostly
Okay.
people who have masters or things like that. That's, I think that they are the one who will look for. But I have heard about this P license as a PhD. I don't think you should worry about that.
Okay. Got it.
Um, yeah, it's more like people who do field work. I heard like civil engineering or things like that, because
Right.
my master's was in civil engineering, and at the time people are saying, "Hey, you need a P license," because I started giving interviews. And I'm like, "What this P license is?" And so if you, I guess, if you are a civil company, civil engineering, you need a P engineer to sign off into, if you're doing like a bridge or something, you have to sign off.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
everything is good. So you need
Okay.
the e-license for all those things. But I'm not sure
Right.
if you will, if you'll work for a traditional companies, you will find a engineer who has a P license.
Okay. Okay. I see. I've noticed that a lot of people who work for consulting firms have those licenses.
Could be
So I
because
don't
that's
know.
what they do.
Okay.
No, that could be possible. I can't say that because it looks to me that they probably have to sign off on something. But
I see.
I am pretty sure what I'm trying to tell you is, if they need someone who has a P license, they will not ask you. They will hire you, and probably you have to work on license.
Okay. I see.
That's what I'm
Got
saying.
it.
I don't
Got
think
it.
they say, okay, you have to have a PhD and a P license, because the reason I'm saying, I have looked into a company like Exponent, and I
Mhm.
see them that they say you should have a PhD in corrosion, but I don't see that they say, oh, you have to have a P license.
Right.
That's my
Right.
point.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, and I can't speak about everyone. So how to position my skill set for industry? I, I mean, it's very easy. I mean, you are already positioned. You have a PhD in a certain area.
Okay. Yeah.
So if tomorrow I say, hey, I would like you to work for Goodyear rubber tire company, you're gonna say no, because I'm not the
Yeah.
guy who worked in that field. So
Right.
what I'm trying to tell you is, for bachelor's, probably that question is more relevant, or master's, but for a PhD, you know your skill set now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You already know your niche area, and you by this time, I'm pretty sure you know what are those five companies you want to work for.
Yeah, definitely. I think that one of the issues I may face is just visa restrictions.
That's every
Right.
F1
So
student's
yeah,
nightmare.
yeah, especially with, high temperature. So
Yep,
everything is export control or ITAR. Or,
yep. I
yeah.
mean, don't waste your time applying for any defense companies.
Right. Okay.
It will be sheer waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any defense contractor, any companies who are subcontractors for defense contractors,
Yep.
yeah, it would be a waste of time.
Right.
Definitely. I mean, I would tell you straight away that companies like where I am, they don't even entertain people who have green card. You have
Mhm.
to have a citizen.
Right. Yeah.
So, as I said, it's every student's nightmare. I had to deal with it. Everybody deals with it, and
Yep.
and somehow you have to circumvent. And as I said, that is the one reason why people go for a postdoc.
Mm. Okay.
And that is one of the reasons why I probably have end up going for a postdoc. Other than that, I want to go for academics. But
Okay.
that was the biggest reason too, because my PhD was done, and that was 2009, 2008. The market was collapsed. If you remember the housing market, the bigger, there was no jobs, and it was a nightmare in that sense.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, one thing that postdoc did, it answered to your next question, EB1 or O1 sponsorship. is that allowed me to work on my green card, and I managed to get my green card while I was a postdoc.
Okay, I
So
see.
that's what I did.
Mm.
But if you get a job in an, but I also had friends from my lab who got a job in industry. They got their green card from industry, but I had to work through postdoc because that's what I did. So if you get lucky, got a job, and it is something that you want to do,
Mhm.
that's very important too, because I will tell you one thing that most of the people, most of the students who have F1 visa unfortunately had to do is pick up something right away.
Right.
And that is something that you must think for, because in long terms, if you pick something that you don't want to do, or it's something in your heart telling you this is not what is not up to the mark what I want to do, or the
Mhm.
whether it's a brand or the work, whatever it is, right? But it's better not to do it and get a postdoc. And because if you do that, that's gonna be your legacy.
Right.
Because right now you can play that you are from UCSD and you can get in a job, but once you get the job, that job becomes your legacy.
Mhm. Mhm. Right.
So, as I said, there is nothing wrong and right. I strongly encourage, and you have done that, that um, you can look for a good startup. Even actually, to be honest with you, if you want to work for a space company, there are a lot and lot of startups out there who can hire students,
Okay.
like Firefly. They work on high temperature materials using additive. They are based out of Austin or Sarah Space. Look for those companies. They are doing very well, and as you said, there is a lot and lot of opportunities for them.
Mhm.
The risk
Okay.
is everywhere. There is, but definitely it would be a fun to watch. And as I said, if you're going to work in a company where the work is good and you are learning a lot, that's going to be, um, that's going to
Yep.
be more important.
Yeah.
And then finally, I do have a partner on H1A. We have thought about H4, but decide not to go ahead. Yeah, is that person is working or no?
Yeah. She's working.
She's working. So let her work.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that if I transition to an H4 now, I'll have the ability to, for example,
I mean, you
consult or
can do that,
something.
but
Yeah.
I mean, if I was you, I will probably use my OPT rather than being dependent on someone, because you never
Right.
know.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because that OPT is not going to affect you. You can always become H4. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would rather take OPT, use that OPT as much as I can, because that OPT gives you a freedom to work at least for 3 years anywhere you want, unless and
Yeah.
until for some reason that's important. So rather than getting into H4, because as I said, you can get that anytime. Once you do that, there's no going back.
Yeah.
So if I was you, I will probably take my OPT and get that freedom that now I don't need a sponsorship. I can work with you, at least get that 3 year of experience. And who knows, when you're in OPT, you might be able to get your green card. So have
Okay.
that option open. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I think that was it from what I
Okay.
remember. But yeah.
No, no, that's a good questions. So what are you working on, by the way?
Oh, I do a lot of refractory alloy processing. I do silicon carbide synthesis, joining,
Is it
maybe,
refractory? Are you using tungsten carbide,
yeah,
tantalum?
tungsten, tantalum, niobium, moly. I do a lot of powder consolidation with spark plasma synthesis.
Is it for more structural applications?
I think our end goal is structural applications, but now we're more interested in very fundamental, like grain boundary studies
No, no, but
in
how do you
multi-component
validate those?
alloys.
Do you do some kind of a testing also on those?
Uh, Pretty right now it's restricted to hardness testing
Oh,
because
okay.
it's hard to get bulk ultra-fine
But yeah, yeah,
grain.
okay.
Yeah,
No, hardness is good
yeah.
enough. Yeah, yeah. So you get Young's
So
modulus and things like that. At least you get an idea.
yeah, we can extrapolate it from that data to
Got
make
it.
an
Got it.
estimation. Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, that's a good
So
area. I mean, for hypersonic applications, that's one of the very important areas.
right, yeah. So I think it's interesting to work on low TRL or like not maybe mid TRL to to high TRL, so that translation.
Okay.
So I
But as
was
I said, a
thinking
lot of
about,
work is being done. Even the lot of work, I support a lot of this sort of a work at Carnegie Mellon and things like that. But this is a very this work is still very supported very fundamentally too.
right,
Because
yeah,
I mean, you know more than me. There are a lot of problems, right? So,
yep, definitely, definitely,
so yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But they're high temperature, ultra high temperature materials. That's what I call them because they work at much higher than nickel superalloys, right? So
yep,
these, I would say that this is one of the really good areas to work for, no doubt, if you are in high temperatures. So
yeah, definitely. It's very challenging, but it's also pretty rewarding at the end of the day. So
yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
it is. And as I said, try to navigate. I would say, try to see if you can see. I mean, you still have 1 year to go. So,
yep,
but I would do one thing if because you want to do things timely. Also, I would get a lawyer
hmm,
and show them your CV and try to get some feedback about your chances of getting a green card down the road.
okay,
Like, what are the loopholes that I need to fill in because you still have time to do those?
right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, for
That's one
example,
of the areas.
how many papers you have. So, what's your citation as of now?
Right now, I have 100.
Yeah, so yeah,
So yeah,
it looks good actually. It's not bad. I mean, you still have 1 year to go. So, I will say, look at talk to a lawyer that can give you a good insight on your CV and see if you can. Because I applied on EB1A, which is like you can apply on your own. Doesn't matter.
right,
So
right,
if you can do that, you can get in within 6 months and you're good to go. You don't have to look
okay,
worry about anybody. The reason why I tell you is this. Let me tell you. I think I I got lucky
mhm,
that I was able to navigate. The failures were on the other side, but I was able to navigate where I am. But I know a lot of people who did much better work than me on these areas and worked on something which is or working in a companies which are not so good or working the technologies where they are supposed they probably would have contributed more. So so timely actions are very important. You want to get your green card as soon as possible so that you can do that by the
mhm,
time if you wait for 5 6 7 years
yeah,
it's gone. So
right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I
That's
think
yeah,
I as I said I think you have every good thing in your resume so far. So I wish I mean so it's looking very good other than your visa.
okay, yeah,
But that's the story of every student.
yep, yep. Universal issue. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you for
Okay.
your time.
Yeah,
Yep,
no
yep,
problem. Shiv. Keep in touch, okay?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, bye.
Right, bye.
Like